Okay. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining me today. Today is April 21st, 2023. My name is Cherise Bunn. I use the pronoun she, her. I'm the Assistant Director of International Student Advising here at the University of Washington. I do have the chat. I just wanted to do a little housekeeping first. So we do have the chat, meeting chat, which will be available for you to ask questions, but I will ask that you hold questions until the end of the session. That will help us, and I can answer the questions. And I also want to stop recording before I answer questions. But today we're going to talk about transferring your SEVIS record to another school. So as a result of attending this session, you should be able to do the following things. You should understand the eligibility rules for SEVIS transfers. You should understand the 5-month rule for SEVIS transfers. And you should be able to identify the steps needed to request a transfer. The first thing I needed to share with you is eligibility criteria. So in order to be eligible for a SEVIS transfer, you must have maintained your F1 status. That means basically that you've enrolled full-time for every quarter. If you're on OPT, that you haven't maxed out your unemployment days, and we'll kind of go into that later. You must ask for the transfer out and have it processed before the end of your grace period. We cannot transfer completed records, so we cannot transfer records after they've already been completed. You must be within the 5-month window, which allows for SEVIS transfers. So I'll talk right now about that 5-month window. So what is the 5-month rule for transfers? So basically there must be less than 5 months between the end of your program at UW and the start of your new program at your new school. There must be, if you're on OPT or STEM OPT, there must be less than 5 months between the end of your OPT or STEM OPT and the start of your new program at your new school. So a little more about transfer eligibility. So here's an example. So let's say that you are a winter graduate for winter 2023. If your end date was March 17th, 2023, and the new program started on August 21st, 2023, you are not eligible for a SEVIS transfer. That is because there are more than 5 months between the end of your program and the start of your new program. If you have a program, so let's say also that you were a winter graduate at the University of Washington, meaning that your I-20 ended on March 17th, 2023. If you had a new program, which some students do, they have a summer start date is June 30th, 2023, you would be eligible for a SEVIS transfer. So, but what if you want to apply for OPT? So applying for OPT, requesting the I-20 from ISS and filing your application with USCIS extends your F1 status. Your OPT actually must be approved to actually extend your F1 status. And so basically, if you apply for OPT and you get approved, let's say you are a winter graduate, you can use the OPT to work in the US, and you can use that OPT, that approved OPT, to gain work authorization and then transfer your SEVIS record if you're eligible. So transfer eligibility for students who are on OPT, you must have had your OPT application approved by USCIS. We will not transfer records of students who get OPT I-20s from us but never apply. And we will not transfer records of students who have applied for OPT with USCIS but never were approved. We will not transfer your record in that case. You must have under 90 days of unemployment. So we will not transfer the record if you have 91 days of unemployment. If you have 91 days of unemployment while you're on OPT, ISS considers you to be out of status, and we will not, you can't apply for like a change of level, and you cannot transfer that record. So transfer eligibility for students on STEM OPT. STEM OPT must have been approved by USCIS once again. You must have under 150 days of unemployment, so we will not transfer your record. If you have 151 days of unemployment, we won't do it. Again, that's similar to regular OPT. You would have, we would consider you out of status. And then you also must submit your final evaluation, the I-983, before we will transfer your record. The next thing to think about, so if this is the similar chart to what I showed before, but this is related to like the end of your OPT and STEM OPT. So again, so let's say your OPT ended on 3/17/2023, your new program start on August 21st. We would not actually be able to transfer it because we would say you're not eligible. But if your new program started within those 5 months, you would be eligible. So what if I'm outside the US? Can I transfer my record? So let's say that you're graduated, you left the US and you did not apply for OPT. You cannot transfer your SEVIS record. If you are graduated, you left the US and you have your EAD card showing approved OPT, we can transfer your SEVIS record. So another big question we get is, how do you pick a transfer date? So ISS must transfer your record while it is still active. So I mentioned before that if your grace period is over, you can't transfer. That's true. We can't transfer it if it's no longer active. You should pick a date in the future. I'm going to talk about this in a few slides, but we have about a 3-week processing time. So you need to pick a date that's further on. And then after your current enrolled quarter at UW. So spring 2023 graduates, the earliest date you can transfer your SEVIS record is June 10th, 2023. I had a student just this morning who had requested a June 1st transfer date, and I didn't do it. So I changed the date to 6/10 because you must have an active SEVIS record while you're here at UW. If you are on OPT or STEM OPT, pick the day after you plan to quit working. So if we were to transfer your record on the last day that you wanted to work, you couldn't work your last day. So it has to be the day after. How soon can I submit my transfer out request? So spring graduates. So if you're graduating in about a month and a half, are you full-time? Did you apply for graduation? If yes, do so today if you want. So you can submit your transfer request today. It will be processed within about 3 weeks. Right now I have a lot of transfer requests. So just know that it would be done by the time probably in the next 3 weeks. If you're on active OPT, submit your end of employment report first, and then also submit your transfer out request. We do want to show that you're ending your employment, so please do both. If you're on STEM OPT, please submit your final evaluation through the STEM validation report, then submit your transfer out request. So another thing, we have gotten some questions about this recently, transfer eligibility or transfer clearance forms. ISS does not complete these forms, transfer eligibility or transfer clearance forms. This is not a requirement. Actually, this is something a lot of schools do just to try to make sure that you've maintained status. We will not transfer your record if you are out of status. So if we were going to do that and you had to apply for reinstatement at your new school, we would be communicating with your new school to make sure that they were going to support you. So that's something to keep in mind. So we don't complete these forms. So what you'll want to do is share your transfer out email with your new school. You will also want to check your My ISSS notes to see the date that the advisor transferred your record. You'll also want to share information with your new school about your CPT, your OPT, etc. So that includes like if you've had reduced course loads. So if you didn't finish your degree here at UW, but you had 3 medical RCLs, you would need to disclose that with your new school because you actually might only be eligible for 1 more. Or if you were going to a semester school, you would probably not be eligible for any medical reduced course loads. But that's something that you need to share with your new school. So here's another one. My grace period ends tomorrow. Can I transfer my record? So ISS has a 3-week processing time. We do not complete urgent requests, so you need to plan ahead. Give yourself time to have your transfer processed in time. So if it's a Friday and for some reason your grace period ends on Sunday, you're not going to be able to transfer your record. So it's very important that you actually take time to plan ahead to be able to transfer your record if you want to keep that same SEVIS record. Are there any questions? I'm actually going to stop recording and I'm going to